All stay-at-home moms are housewives, but not all housewives are stay-at-home moms.
I hate my job.
If you are considering being a stay-at-home mom, there are some things that you should really know before you make a final decision on if it's right for you or not. Yeah, let's talk about some pros and cons, shall we? You are pretty much going to be financially dependent on somebody else. Your spouse is going to be bringing in most of the income. So there really is no financial autonomy for you unless you create it. We have, as women these days, options for that. There are plenty of options, a plethora of options on how you can make extra money and have a good income for yourself, despite the fact that you are a stay-at-home mom or housewife. A second thing to consider is your professional development or lack thereof. Deciding to be away from the professional field for an extended period of time will automatically create a gap in your professional resume. Naturally, you're going to lose some of that professional skill that you need to maintain your position in the workforce. Of course, you're not going to have the experience anymore due to that gap in being away from the professional world. So re-entering will give you a disadvantage if you let it. Again, there are options for all of this, but definitely something to consider if you are a corporate girly. Okay, you are going to be spending most of your time at home. There is no such thing as social interaction. Your friends are your fridge, your microwave, your stove. So what do we do when there is no social interaction with humans and other people? Maybe you have your baby there, but that may be the only other human you see for the entire day until your older children get home or until your spouse gets home. Therefore, you can feel that weight of the social isolation that can often come about when you are at home, alone all the time for an extended period of time. It is up to you now to create that social environment and to have a social life outside of your home. It's not automated anymore because you no longer go to work and you no longer have those interactions with other people. It's going to be very important for you to actively seek opportunities to have social interactions and to maintain a healthy social life. Some other issues that you're going to face when entering this new life of being at home is being the one that does most of the house chores, tasks, and housework. A lot of times there's this unequal distribution of tasks because you're the one that is now mostly at home and everyone expects that you do all of the house chores, at least majority of the house chores. There's an answer for everything. You can divvy up the house chores so that it's more even and less burden on you, especially if you are a stay-at-home mom. There's a reason daycare exists, because taking care of children is a full-time job with overtime. So even though you see a mom staying at home taking care of her children, she is working. There's so much that she has to do to take care of that child. But because you are the stay-at-home parent or the wife that stays at home, it's your responsibility to make sure that all of the burden of taking care of the household doesn't fall only on you. Hiring help, divvying up chores, and giving other members of your family responsibilities is crucial and important. But you have to be the one to make that schedule and make that happen for yourself. And I want to brush up on just not feeling appreciated for the things that you do when you are a stay-at-home mom. In the workplace, naturally, there's a system in place for healthy competition and a reward system when you do something good for the company. But at home, that doesn't exist. That's something you have to create for yourself and something you have to do for yourself. You need to be the one to point out your shortcomings, and when you overcome them, let everyone know. Make a PSA about it. Celebrate your wins when you have them. No one's going to do that for you. Your husband's at work, your children, your older children are at school. If you overcame something at home, they're not going to know about it unless you tell them. So yes, you may not feel appreciated all the time, but think about being the one to showcase your wins and showcase the things that you do that make you happy and that you overcame that week or that day. I want to share some personal things with you ladies about the bright side of being a stay-at-home mom and a housewife. This has naturally changed my life. I would not change my decision to be at home with my children and to be a homemaker for anything in the world. I am so grateful for the opportunity to have the ability to stay at home with my children and to do what I do. I too was once in the workforce, and I can tell you that it took a lot for me to stay at home, but it was a decision that I needed to make for my family and for myself. And I wasn't sure how this was going to work out for me, but I can tell you for a fact, I am blessed and grateful and would never trade what I'm doing today for a paycheck. I wouldn't. The first way that being at home has changed my life, and something that you can take advantage of if you're thinking about becoming a part of the stay-at-home community, is having the flexibility to make your own schedule and have your time back. The independence and freedom that I have felt by just having my time for myself and to manage myself the way I want has been untouchable. No one could tell me anything. I'm so grateful to have that. With my first child, I have 2 children. With my first baby, I worked. I was going and doing my 9-to-5 thing, and I missed so much of her upbringing and the baby stage. And I had the opportunity to stay home with my second baby. It made me realize how much I missed with the first baby. And now I'm able to see all of those things, the little details that I couldn't remember doing with my first child. I get to see them now. And because both of my children are still young, I'm experiencing things even with my first child that I most likely would not get to experience if I were working a 9-to-5. The bond that I have been able to create with both of my children, and especially my husband, has been incredible. And I credit that to being able to stay home. Inner work really started for me once I became a stay-at-home mom. For many years, I struggled with controlling myself, controlling my emotions. I had no grip on my emotions at all, not even a little bit. I always wore a mask. I looked put together on the outside, but on the inside, darling, I was an emotional wreck and a mess. Once I started staying at home, I had no choice but to face those emotions. And I began to heal. I did a lot of inner work, self-healing, and I progressed into this beautiful person that I love. I credit that to the ability to stay at home. It's even given my husband the opportunity to heal, regardless of the fact that he goes to work. This has done so much for me in leveling up and also in my femininity. It started here with inner work and having that time to do that inner work. And remember, I told you there's so much you can do in the financial space when you're at home. The list is endless. I have more money now than I did when I was working. That tells you a lot about the power of being a stay-at-home wife and mom. Everyone that's telling you that you're going to be broke or you're not going to make any money when you're at home and staying at home, they are not doing it right. They are doing it wrong. We all have bills. We all have things to pay, but there is a right and wrong way to handle your finances when you are a stay-at-home wife. That is a completely separate video. We need to talk about that on its own. It's its own thing. In part 2, I want to dive into how to ask your spouse to be a stay-at-home wife if you didn't have that conversation prior. Let's reach 1,000 subscribers on this channel. Don't forget to subscribe and share this video with a fellow woman that you know needs to hear this message. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.